Ladies and gentlemen of the old world, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be the Empire led by Nerexa facing off against the Beastmen, who shall be helmed by Hella Fantastic here on the Imperial Ambush. And let's go ahead and break down the build. So for the Empire, it's going to be Vanguard of Free Company Militia, so they're going to be rushing up to the point very quickly, giving the Empire some frontal pressure. And as far as their applications against Beastmen, not bad honestly. With their 90 range and decent missile strength, they can put some hurt down on the light armor. So if you're shooting at like Centaurs, Ungors, things like that, they can get their bread's worth. On top of that, shooting at Minotaur is another good target as well. So going to be 3 of those backed up by Markus Wulfhart, who only has his net ability, so not going to be using the Amber Bow or the Focus Shot. But yeah, the net is very, very good. Beastmen are one of the fastest, sometimes can be one of the most aggressive factions. Not always. Beastmen are weird in that they can play hyper aggression, but they can also play like a kiting play style with Ungor Raiders counterpunching you, but very, very dynamic. But yeah, when they do get aggressive, especially against an Empire gun and or bow line, having that net, so good. On the back, we got a Bright Wizard. He's going to be dropping Burning Head on the lightly armored Beastmen, couple spears to hold the back objective, and of course, man after my own heart here, the Mortar Wagon. Now, Mortar Wagons are actually decent in a couple matchups in which you want to have like a mortar equivalent to shut down Ungor Raiders or light armor, but you're a little bit too worried about protecting it against like Fellbats, Scurvy Dogs, Centaurs, Harpies. Then, meet the War Wagon. It actually isn't bad. I've had some success against like Vampire Coast, a couple other slower factions in which mortars are good, but precarious to bring. But here, yeah, it's going to be fun. On the side, we do have Theodore Bruckner, absolute Chad, and Theodore is a good fighter, for sure, a good hunter, and I would imagine he has these, the fear ability against Beastmen, and then the snare, the slow. Yeah, negative 45% speed, pretty damn good, and it can be used on anything. It's not that it's mandatory against like heroes or anything. All right, guys, for the Bray Herd here of Hella Fantastic, going to be rocking a Buna-caster. A good choice. Empire loves its grenade launchers, its heavy cav. Having Buna against those guys is good. Although I think you should always bring Spirit Leech. It's only like 75 or like 125 gold. Having Spirit Leech is just always good with Buna, in my opinion. Zangors into the sunset, backed up by Ungors, and Ungors just mainly a massive melee rush, actually. With some Centaurs at the back, as well as a single Tuskor Chariot, which is an okay utility piece. Chariots are okay against Empire. Not always the best, but yeah, if they can get into some State Troopers, what's not to love. Nice juke right there. So the Empire is going to be on the back foot, for sure. The Beastmen have the more aggressive army, and it looks like they're going to be going for one of the most classic ways that people beat the Empire, which is with stuffing. When you play against the Empire with Nurgle, you just go balls to the wall, pin them in with like 5,000 units, and it's tricky, So the big thing for Nerexa here, in order to, have success in this game, going to need to make sure, they might lose their back objective, but you don't want to lose it for too long, that's for sure. You got to get it back real quick. If the Beastmen have you triple capped for a long period of time, man, it's going to be pure suffering. All right, so the Bray Herd is coming in. Theodore Bruckner thinking about Giga Chatting it. He's kind of staring down these Zangors here. Could use the Titan's Headsman to slow him down. Yeah, Zangors will dominate Free Company Militia in a fight, and to the backside, we do see a beautiful Fate of Buna going down for the Beastmen, which is going to be hammering the Reiksguard Knights, which are trying to intercept Centaurs, which normally they would win, but in their tattered state, we'll have to see. Beautiful net coming in from Markus, and the Free Company Militia do have the high ground, and here comes the State Troopers, the brave Sons of Sigmar in their trousers here, and their pajamas, getting ready to fight against the Beastmen. Certainly not going to be fun. And now the fighting is on. Reiksguard Knights get a good fight on the outside. Very favorable for the Empire here. Despite the Fate of Buna, the Spearman support is going to make those Centaurs probably get folded up. We'll have to see. But elsewhere on the battlefield, grenade launchers being called in. And yeah, that's definitely one of the better answers. Grenade launchers are really, really good against Angors and, Beastmen infantry in general. They don't have the best AP, so against like Bestigors, they're still worth it though, man. They still just do so much damage. Now, on the objective, we do see the State Troopers fighting the Blackhorns Ravagers. These guys are going to cut through these Spearmen pretty quickly now that they've gotten into combat. They are taking a little bit of damage, but the fight's going to turn very horribly for those Spearmen. And the Free Company getting some good Overwatch fire, but we do see the Imperial Troopers slowly being overwhelmed, and the Beastmen going to be swarming from all directions. Now here, what do we see getting called out? Some baseline swordsmen, Free Company Militia retreating, while the Giga Chad Reiksguard Knights are able to run down the Centaurs on the wings. Markus Wulfhart going to be taking a sniper shot into the Great Bray Shaman to death, so Homeboy is shooting in there, or no, he's actually going after the Centis and could get trapped up here a little bit. We're going to have to see. Very dangerous for the Empire here. Man, they really need to hold this point, and it does look like their Spearmen are going to be faltering, pretty much losing all the infantry fights that they're engaged in. The Swordsmen are doing okay against the Ungors, obviously, but that's just an Ungor unit. On the backfield, though, we do see Theodore Bruckner, and it looks like he's being used to hunt down the Tuskor Chariots, which is a good call. Tuskor Chariots have high armor and pretty good mass. Spearmen can grind them down if they stay still, but typically you need something mobile to chase those type of things down. Grenade launchers feasting like the heathen kings of old, and over on Objective 1, we do see the Beastmen getting towards the objective. Now, I think that Mr. Fantastic here needs to move his units on the objective and be a little bit more hyper-vigilant about focusing on that. because, you know, in games like this, a player like Nerexa is going to outvalue trade you eventually, especially if you're in their spawn like this. He's going to win the fights over time. So you need to have that triple cap in order to make that worth it. And it looks like right now it is going to be coming in, and the triple cap is going to be full in effect, while we do see the Hunter Snare activated from the Hunts Marshal. And by the way, what the hell is this Empire Banner? I don't know if I've ever seen that one before. Pretty cool, but the grenade launcher shooting out, Swordsman holding the ranks, and Theodore Bruckner with the -4 leadership helping to break what he can. Reiksguard Knights being sacrificed into Spearmen, but their armor, 120 armor, and decent melee defense maybe will hold firm. I'll have to come back there, but probably would lose that fight over time. As the grenade launchers continue singing, and the dreaded mortar wagon, I don't know what it's doing. It's just looking into the woods, maybe a little bit afraid of the Beastmen, hard to say. So about 500 points here, but the Empire is pulling ahead in value, but very, very good Fated unit on the Empire Knights. But they're only Empire Knights, 800 gold, give or take, still worth it. And a Burning Head going to be cooking through the Beastmen, burning through the Witches, slamming through the ditches in the back of Volkmar's Dragula here, as we do see the Outriders continue to tee off. And this is going to be one of those games. I've played so many Empire games. It's going to be one of those games where they're stuffed back. They get up to like, their opponent gets up to like 1,100 points. And then they start to rally back and slowly get the objectives. And it's going to be like a last-second crunch on the final objective if the Empire wins. And if they lose, it's going to be because they didn't get that third objective very quickly. We do see Nerexa at 4,400 value, Beastmen at 35 here. And the stuff is still on. So Colin here, going to be more Reiksguard Knights. A great choice. I actually like them a lot because the 120 armor makes a pretty considerable difference against the damage of the Centaurs, which are very, very common here. Although sometimes Beastmen players do mix in Centaurs with Great Weapons, which can be a little bit more problematic, but Reiksguard Knights still typically do pretty well into those guys. Grenades are feasting. Zangor's here getting shot by the Free Company, and it looks like the mortar wagon has turned about face. Markus Wulfhart saving his ammunition, so it looks like Nerexa is not auto-firing on Markus. I think he's, you know, he's obviously an elf player, so he knows how to conserve his ammo. When I played Markus, I just let him free shoot, and then he's like out of ammo in the late game. I'm like, damn it, you can't do anything now. But yeah, saving those shots for Minotaurs, Centaurs, enemy lords, very, very good idea. So Theodore back in the woods, battling against the Ungabunga Spearmen, and you know, probably what could he be doing differently? Maybe just using Theodore to try and chase down the Great Ray Shaman. I don't know, hard to say. Reiksguard Knight's going to be coming up. Grenade launchers doing a ton of work, and is the Empire on the brink of getting this objective back? Probably with these Empire Knights coming in tandem with the grenade launchers in the back, Free Company moving as well. Markus and the mortar wagon can all be used as pretty good capture weight over on objective number 1 here and elsewhere. We see Swordsman chilling here, Burning Head going to be coming down, but only going to be getting an Ungor Spear unit. Probably not worth it. I think that was a little bit of a misplay there. Probably should have used it on the Gore Herds. These are like just a dirt cheap spear unit. This is like a pretty expensive 500, 600 gold infantry unit right there. So more heavy cav coming out. The Reiksguard Knights in the late game are going to be very strong. It does seem like the Beastmen are losing a little bit of agency on the ground, as a lot of their, well, not in the ground. Well, yes, of course, it's all on the ground, but in terms of the mobility is what my brain meant to say. So they are losing a lot of the cav. The Centaurs have been losing all their fights, and that's going to give the Empire some pretty nasty hammer pressure, as the third Fated unit's going to be going down. So I think in a game you can get 3 Fated units in total, unless you have Winds of Magic shenanigans, and then the rest would be spent on Spirit Leech or something, unless you have some sort of an item that gives you more Winds of Magic or something. Grenades feasting, really, really good play. Keeping the grenade launchers live is quite massive. Reiksguard going to be hammering into the back while the grenades go down to the front. Very heavy metal shot. You got to love that. And that's one of the coolest things about the Empire is like using their combined arms, you know, the faith, the steel, and the gunpowder, and watching it all work together. It's very, very fun and exciting. But yeah, the Beastmen full court press is gassing out a little bit. They still are keeping the value pretty close though. So very well played to Mr. Fantastic here. You know, it's most people like in the enemy spawn zone of a player like Nerexa or Serkia, one of the top players in the world, very, very good. Would be, you know, further behind in value than this. But yeah, he's doing it, and he's keeping that pressure on. The Beastmen infantry, very cost-effective, and some of the quicker reinforcing units of the game as well. All right, so let's see if my prediction is correct. We're getting close to like 1,100 points like we talked about, and now we're starting to see the Empire get some momentum, right? The Ungor Spearmen herds are going to run down these guys. They're going to move over to Objective 1. They're probably going to start getting that back. Then the Beastmen are going to start reinforcing on the other points, which is what they're already doing. Ungor's coming in, Gore Herd's right here, and it's going to be a really, really tight game if the Empire has any chances. We're going to have to see. Grenades pulling back, Reiksguard Knights fighting what they can. But yeah, he's really got to focus on getting the objective back here, and it looks like he's going to now. Is the Heavy Cav going to be coming downhill, and the Ungabunga Raiders going to be getting bunged as they do get launched down the hill by the couched lances of the Reiksguard Knights. Karl Franz's homies doing him proud. Theodore Bruckner is also going to be really good in the late game as well. The fact that he causes the leadership penalty, even though it's only 4, I mean, that's significant. You know, when you're looking at like infantry units that are sitting at like 30, 40 leadership, that -4 can be a game changer in a very, very close fight. All right, so Free Company heading to the point. Grenade launchers are in good shape, and we do see a lot of Imperial forces in the battlefield now. Although on the backside, some of these Beastmen units, Senti's still holding well, but I think the Reiksguard Knights and Theodore Bruckner are going to be able to clean those bad boys out. Yeah, they really need to give demogryph knight mounts to some of the characters. Like if Empire captains could ride them, or like a general of the Empire could ride a demi. You can do that in tabletop. Empire can do that. I think that'd be super, super cool. All right, so the onslaught of the Empire is coming, and it looks like Objective 1 is going to be going to the Empire. And it looks like Beastmen are just opting to Helm's Deep on Objective 3. So, yeah, it doesn't look like we're seeing anything being sent to number 3 there. They're all, going alt to 2. So let's see if it works out for them. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. 2 is a little bit further away from your spawn. But, could work out, because the Empire, I guess, does have a little bit of momentum over here, although they're all mobility, so they can just rotate here anyways. All right, guys, here comes the Burning Head. The Ungor is going to be getting cooked, burning through the witches. Oh, epic cav charge with Burning Head cinematics. Doesn't get better than that, as they do get cooked up, wavering and terrified here. Theodore Bruckner going to be routing them off. The -4 leadership plus the -8 from the burnt effect. Hey, it's adding up. Basically a blood roar from Boris Todbringer there. And now he's going to need to make a play for Objective 3. So maybe send the Mortar Wagon and Markus over there. And yeah, now the Beastmen player knows that that objective is lost there. And Homie's going to be hunkering down on his back objective as Markus Chadhart comes in. We got State Troopers coming over there and looking on objective number 2. It is in the process of flipping. He's got to flip it quick, though, man. Those 2 victory tickets are bleeding him out really, really quickly here. Grenade launcher shooting in where they can, while the Pistolier is going to be providing 4 capture weight and rotating. And yeah, Pistoliers are nice against Beastmen. Very, very good. They can hammer a lot of the light armor, and they provide 4 capture weight, which is very good. And now, yeah, Objective 2 belongs to the Empire, guys, and the prophecy may come true, but who will emerge victorious? I honestly couldn't predict it earlier. It was very, very close. But he needs to get over there ASAP, and he has a little bit of time. He has about a minute and 20 seconds, give or take. So the Pistoliers and the Reichsguard Knights gonna need to jam over there real fast, like, because Beastmen are just gonna be spamming capture weight out here. So we got Zangors, very tricky units to capture or push through, right? They have silver shields, they have Protoss shields, very, very nasty stuff. But you gotta leave something to defend Objective 2. You gotta make sure you do that. So what do we have coming here? It's gonna be tight, man. Those Spearmen are gonna make it like at the last second. The Mortar Wagons have 3 capture weight. Markus Wulfhart has 3 as well. Mortar Wagons, of course, can be used as battering rams, but yeah, obviously at range is what you want to be doing with them, but in this situation, yeah, battering rams are going to be a little bit better. So Pistoliers and company and Reichsguard Knights making the way over to the far side objective. You can see really nice play here from Hello Fantastic, using these Centaurs to run interference and lock up those troopers as the Empire Cav are on their way over. Man, only about 30 seconds left. We do see Spearmen coming, Pistoliers are moving, Empire Knights getting in, Burning Head potentially going to be very clutch, as the Beastmen are going to go for a ninja on the back point. Really, really nice play here by Hello Fantastic. It's super nice, but the Reichsguard Knights should be able to clean them off. Now, Homie's got 20 seconds left. Burning Head does come in, do some work, but the Empire does get the capture weight. But with another Gore Herd coming in, probably going to be a little too late. Theodore Bruckner coming over as well, Zentler's Reichsguard, and also more Reichsguard Knights. So yeah, Homie was literally like 15 seconds away from winning this game, and that's just a good, solid, close scrap. You gotta love to see it. And also a big shout out to Nrexa for sending in a loss. Not a lot of people do that. Well played. That was a good game. Classic stuffing tactics against Empire, but the Empire player was just a little bit, and by a little bit, I mean like 10 seconds too slow on getting back on the objectives. And that really just shows, in the early game, you might think the objective is, oh yeah, I got time, but sometimes you don't. It's really, really close. But I loved it, man. Getting to see Theodore Bruckner, even though he didn't do a ton of damage, the Beastmen player presented mostly infantry, not really any good SEs for him to hunt down, but the leadership thing was cute. Mortar Wagon, only 500 value, but aside from that, yeah, it's cool play. Heavy Cav were the big breadwinners for the Empire. And for the Beastmen, it was, yeah, great frontal pressure, Zangors with shields, durable, relatively good melee defense by Beastmen standards, and then good Centaur pressure just to kind of keep them pinned up there. So, GG, well played, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that one. Sigmar, Sigmar preserve us. Rough game indeed, but certainly the Empire will be back with more. GG, my friends. Take care of yourselves, and that's it for tonight.